Saturday, 20th, 7. Okay. May I have a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Madeline, who said second? You did, Richard. God.
It's okay.
All right, we don't have a flag in this room, so we'll have to bypass that for tonight. Approval of the minutes from January's meeting. We didn't have them in February because of that snowstorm.
Right.
Okay. Richard, would you like to read it out loud?
What's that?
The minutes?
Yeah, if you want me to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the meetings from our last, take these off.
Yep.
Okay, discussions on the old library. If and when the solar monument must be moved to Pope Park, also the time capsule. Now, is anything else that come from that?
I haven't heard nothing further. The only thing is the capsule would go to the library on Middle Road.
Oh, cool.
The time capsule.
Okay. Selectmen must make a decision on the sale. There are stipulations that must be met. An appraiser must be hired to determine the value of the building and what repairs are needed and what to sell the building for. But none of this has been done.
None of this has been done as far as I know.
Okay. The bell at the school was repaired. That was repaired a while back.
Yeah, that was around
Motion to
Christmas.
accept last meeting approved. New sign made and hung in parting ways. Property deeds to be checked to find original owners. Determined that the building is 100 years old. It is determined that the Acushnet town line on River Road and Mill Road are as follows. On River Road, the properties along the river are at Acushnet, all the way to the town liquors. That's on Ball's Corner.
Right, right.
And on Mill Road, the side of the river, the town line ends at Slocum Street. This is one thing I never knew, that the town, this is like that old building, just when you take the corner to go up in the package store, there's a huge building there, looks like it comes from the Adams family, you know which one I mean?
Now,
In fact-
On Middle Road?
Pardon me?
On Middle Road?
No, is it, no.
It's Ann Crudo's house.
Is that
Yeah.
who lives there? The one on the right, they just did it all over, they painted it and everything, it
Oh,
did
no,
nice.
no, the little one?
No, the big one, the big
Oh,
house.
yeah, that's the house.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful place.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, state won't allow meeting house to be used because it's not complying with codes, bathrooms, water, heat, and handicap accessible. Other buildings are also excluded. What Acushnet needs is a senator or representative to make historical buildings code exempt. Otherwise, buildings will go unused. Now, what I'm thinking is this, that we should start mailing letters
Yep.
to our senator and representative to see if we can get these historical buildings exempt and only used for guided tours.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't just open the building up and let anybody go in there because they don't have the facilities. But it's a shame to let these buildings just sit there with nobody else enjoying
I know
them
it.
Yeah.
because there isn't 2 bathrooms or a handicap. So maybe if we can get an exemption, or the state, or a senator or House of Representative can make a motion to exempt these types of buildings so that they can be used.
Okay,
I think that if we maybe just mail a letter or we'd see what happens.
Our
Okay.
senator's been in there for a number of terms, and he's got a great deal of power and respectability and everything else. I would think he's the guy to go, because our state
who
rep
is?
Um,
Schmidt.
Schmidt. No, he's not gonna run us again.
I know, he's not, he's all done.
It's a shame, because he's been in for 7 terms.
He did a lot of work for us.
Yep. And the other fellow, though, has been in much longer and is still gonna be there.
The one from Mattapoisett?
He seems able to get money for just about anything.
Who?
The state rep there, his name escapes me at the moment, but he's been in for a number of terms.
Wasn't Is it Strauss? Strauss?
Yes.
Strauss, yeah.
He
He
seems
was
to
in
be-
Mattapoisett, right?
I don't know, I just.
He seems to accomplish things that other people would have no luck at all getting through.
He's been in a while, so he knows
Yes.
how to work the system, I guess.
You know?
Okay. Well, let me just bring up something before we go any further, because I've been working on trying to get the Perryville Church on the National Historic Register.
Ah,
So I have talked to, well, we had to line up a preservationist that is willing to do all the paperwork.
yep.
And I've lined up one lady, and I've had quite a few calls with her, and the state has been really tough. Her and I have both been on the phone with the three gentlemen up there at Mass Historical. The one that I talked to, and I can't think of his name offhand, I told him, I said, will you please tell me the reasoning why in a small church that's never had running water or bathrooms, why the building inspector tells me we have to have 3?
It doesn't make any sense.
He said, who told you that? I said, the building inspector in Acushnet.
Yeah.
3 bathrooms. He says to me, when the time comes, we get it on the register, he said, you and I will have that conversation because you do not need 3. You can have 1 that'll handle all 3.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
I said, there's not really room in that church to put a bathroom.
That should apply to all the buildings. then.
Yes, it should. It certainly
Well,
should.
that's one of the things with the meeting house.
Yeah.
Because there's no bathroom there either.
Well, what I'm saying is that's why we have to keep pressuring these representatives or senators to do
Don't let up
this. Yeah, because, because it seems senseless to spend all this money to revamp these buildings and then you can't use them because they're not up to code.
Yeah.
That don't make sense to me at all.
Well, the thing is, to get it on the National Historic Register is going to be the first step.
All right, does that make the building exempt from code?
No.
I doubt it.
No. No.
What?
And I can't even be guaranteed grants
No.
from what they told me.
Yeah.
They said I can't be guaranteed getting a grant once it's on the National Register. He says it all depends on what the money is to be used for, if the money is available, and depending on how the letter is written to apply for the grant. So that's where we need the help of a preservationist,
Yeah.
Now,
because she knows.
let me ask you this, Pauline. If they do grant just 1 bathroom, and you're able to put it in, now, you have no septic.
Right? I
Now,
told him that.
is this gonna be under the new septic regulations? Where I heard,
They're not going
cost
into
of
effect.
septics is getting outrageous.
Yeah, but they're not, that is not going into effect for us right now. I mean, the Sultan had been talking about it off and on, and they got word from, oh God, what's his name? What's the one that gets all our money from Boston? I can't think of his name. I can't think of his. But anyways, we got a long way to go. Let's put it that way.
Well,
We got a long way to
one
go.
step at a time.
Okay,
Yeah, you
just
said here you spoken to a preservative?
a preservationist, yes, the lady. Her name is Wendy, and she's up near Boston area. And she has been helping me by contacting Mass Hysterical. She's talked to Paul Holtz. She's talked to Ben Haley. Ben Haley is more the, to get it on the National Register. He's the one that more or less tells you what needs to be done. Okay?
What's her name?
Her first name is Wendy. I should have brought the paper with me with her information. I didn't bring it. Son of a gun. She has been excellent, and we're going to a CPC to ask for the funding to cover it to get on the National Historic Register. And already she's put in quite a bit of time just back and forth to Mass Historical. Okay, being sure that the way the building is, that we can go forward with it. And it needs, like I told the gentleman I spoke to last week, that Ben Haley, I said it needs a lot of work. I said because it was never finished. The point that they're raising is that when the renovations were done on that building, they're trying to tell me that the building has changed from the original. Now I've got old pictures, not with me, but I've got old pictures when we first took over the church, and went in there, we snapped pictures of all kinds.
Yep.
The only thing that on the exterior that has changed is the 2 individual porches.
Yeah.
Where before it had a porch across the whole front. Right across the whole front. But the town, what happened was, when they started fixing the building up,
Mhm.
the town planted those shrubs in the middle of the
Yeah.
2 staircases.
Yeah.
And that's why they ended up, the building inspector put these small porches in. And I told them right out, I said, that is the only thing on the exterior that has changed.
Yeah, why
The
should that change?
siding hasn't changed, the roofing has not changed, it was repaired,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The other thing is they're saying about the belfry. Now, the only thing that, we looked at old pictures, we looked at new pictures. The vents on the side of the belfry are shorter. They're not the long one, the way it was on the original belfry. And the reason they did shorten them, I talked to the new building inspector, Andy. I was over there last week and I spoke to him about it. And he said why they do that is to keep the bats and birds and things like that out.
Yeah.
Because if you remember when we first took over that building, there was 2 feet of stuff in that building.
Ugh.
That's why Alan wouldn't let me go in there. He kept me out. He said it was not healthy not to go in there.
So who's saying that the building has changed?
Mass Historical. See, that's been the problem. We have to know for sure that the building is going to be able to go through the National Historic Register and kind of be sure that we're going to be able to get it. It's going to cost about $8,000. That's what we're going to ask for from CPC to pay the preservationist. Because she's got a lot of paperwork, she's got a lot of stuff to do to prepare.
What about our congressmen and senators? Could they be any help in this situation?
Right now, I think we might have it somewhat under control, where they've told us
Yeah.
to proceed.
Yeah.
But the waiting list too is about 2 years long.
Yeah. No, because I just heard, just within the past few weeks, that it sounds like they've been able to line up a great deal of money to replace both the bridges over the canal, and it's our senators who worked very hard to get that approved, and there will still be more money needed, and supposedly they're gonna do the bigger bridge first and the other bridge second. They're not gonna do them both simultaneously.
Together.
What bigger bridge? They're both the same, don't they?
No, by no means.
No?
No, the Sagamore Bridge is considerably more to it.
What do you mean by
It's
more?
longer?
Well, bigger, wider, used by far more vehicles. See, that's a main factor for doing that one first, because it is used by far more vehicles than the other one. And it's not a real problem if you can't get across the Bourne Bridge, because the other one is close by. But they don't want to work on both at the same time, because that would really screw things up.
I wish they'd get the Hamlin Street Bridge done.
It's done.
Are you kidding?
Did they do, have they worked on it lately?
I don't even know if they're working on it. We don't hear no banging. We were hearing the banging.
The
a
canal
while-
bridges will be done before Hamlin Street.
The what?
The
Yeah.
canal bridges will be
Yeah.
done before Hamlin Street.
I think so.
Well, they were supposed to open up, coming up this summer, right?
No, they took
Originally,
said 2
they
to
said
3 years. And
Yeah.
it's,
Well, that
they,
bridge will never be done by the summer, neither one of them. It's gonna be so much more difficult than the original ones. It's
but
gonna
what
be-
about our little Hamlin Street Bridge?
Oh, I don't know what.
Well, what I'm saying is, there's no reason in the world why.
Take 3 years.
Yeah, that's baloney. They could go in there and knock that out in 6 months if they put their mind to it.
Well, it's all the fish studies and, the herring and
Have you-
all these studies they have to take.
Well, what about the mill that's there? Is there anything being said or done about that?
That's
The
got
mill
nothing to
better
do
not
with
get
rivers,
touched.
so-
I mean, it's in poor enough shape right now.
I
The
know.
only thing what they're going to do is, if you remember, the waterway that used to go under
Well,
the
it's the
street,
power of the mill.
the power of the mill, that is going to be done away with.
Well, that mill's gotta be saved, there's no doubt about it.
Well, they did away with the dam
Yeah.
because of the herring,
Mm.
and so that
Well, the last time I went,
deleted the mill option.
Mhm.
last time I went through there, the place was all overgrown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Well,
needs a
because-
lot of work,
Walls
just,
are falling
The
down.
fella that was doing all the work of cleaning it up and that, he didn't get any help from the Acushnet Land, the Fairhaven Land Trust. They're not willing to help him out at all, you know? Not
But
with
the sign
money.
there though.
Yeah, but they don't help him at all. Not even to clean up, cut the grass, nothing. Okay, so that's another story
Well,
about,
that's another thing that we're gonna have to
it's getting very
address, because
frustrating.
that'd be another building gone. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It don't make sense. Like the library, is there anything been said about that?
But,
No.
you know, that's another, that's like the church. Okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna preserve it,
Mm-hmm,
and that's what it's gonna be.
yeah,
Well, I don't- no, wait a
Preservation
minute.
of
I
a
don't know.
dilapidated building.
I'm not talking about preserving it. I'm talking about selling it with the stipulation that they can't change the outside.
where? The library.
The library.
That's, yeah, that's
Oh, the
granted,
library.
that's already.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
No, but
No.
that should be a number one priority right now.
There's a
before
deed
It
restriction.
falls, it's, you know, it's.
Before it deteriorates any
Yeah.
more than it is.
What could
Yeah.
you use that building for if not, if it
Well,
was?
you could put a real estate office in there, a beauty salon, or, you don't have no much parking, so you can't
That's
be
the
putting.
problem,
And you
yeah.
get an awful lot of stairs to climb to and.
But you got the lower level, which is walk-in.
Yeah, but not only that,
yeah.
they have an elevator in there.
Yes.
They do?
I'm sure they could do
Yeah,
something.
there's an elevator in that building.
Huh?
No,
No?
No.
I thought there was.
no,
What was I gonna say? Well, then,
stairs.
I imagine one could get, if they renovate the building,
Mm.
which they'd have to do.
Yep,
well, like I said, if we can sell the building at this point, at this stage of the game, who cares what they sell it for?
well, in a way, you're right.
You
Yeah,
know what
but-
I'm saying?
Yes,
It's
yes.
becoming an eyesore if they let the roof cave in on itself, you know what I mean?
And people keep saying, I'm sure, that nice building and it's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly, it's rotting away and it's a
So
it's a beautiful building.
It is.
Right now, it's a liability.
It is.
If they sell it, then it's on a tax roll.
Exactly, and
Yes, that's
and
right.
that's why I think that should be priority. Sell that building regardless of the price. Don't get me wrong, I ain't saying sell it for 10
Did
bucks.
anybody find out about the origin of that building? Wasn't it donated to the town at one time?
Yeah, it was.
And was there any restrictions?
No, but we've got, the historical commission has got a restriction for now. When it gets sold, the facade cannot be touched, ever.
Okay, but I mean, there's no restriction on what the building can be used for?
No, I mean, it was built to be a library.
Right.
So that's,
It was built for his daughter, in his daughter's namesake.
and we never found the building plans. See, that's what Mr. Kelly was asking me if I had any information on, because I dug up quite a bit of stuff in our little town books that we have at the museum.
Yep.
Got a lot of information from that, but, I don't know, we've got the deed restriction there, but I've been hearing figures like they think it's worth $500,000.
Well,
You know, the market is still crazy, so,
Oh, it is.
But the
I don't
trouble-
know if
The trouble
they got
is whoever buys that building,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna
Got a
cost
lot.
them a lot of money to get it to where they want it.
Yeah.
So if they're spending $500,000 on the building,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna dump at least another $500,000 in it,
and not only that,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to, come up with the funding to move the, Veterans Monument.
that
To
can
the
be
park.
taken care of. Once the building is sold,
Yeah, but that's gotta be one
if
of
the
the restrictions.
selectmen get off their butts and sell that building, then we can worry about moving the monument. How much is it gonna cost to move that monument to Polk Park? $5,000?
Mr. Kelly thinks it's gonna be outrageous.
What's outrageous, 10 grand?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't see.
It's a big monument.
What you gotta do is, just like when I was a property man, you gotta get people in there to give you estimates. You know what I mean? In other words, bring in half a dozen people and tell them how much is it gonna cost us. to
There's
move
not
this.
too many people that do that type of work.
All you need is a crane and a truck.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, I should.
And it's
think
gonna
so.
be on a flatbed in order to move it in one piece without it
Well, I
getting
you
broke.
understand.
need somebody with the expertise to move that.
Oh,
type of-
yeah.
I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah.
You need someone with the expertise.
Oh, I
to move
understand
that.
that, but if you're hiring somebody with a crane, they're not dumb. They've moved stuff like this before. Not only that, now, where the hell is it gonna go?
It's gonna go to the park.
Yeah, I understand, but where in the park? Are they just gonna take it there and drop it?
Well, let's sell the building first. Then we'll worry
Yeah,
about it.
exactly. Now,
first. Whatever it's on now has gotta get put over there.
What about lighting a fire under the selectmen's butts to do something with this? Is there any way we can move ahead with?
I'm sure.
You're gonna get me in trouble, that's what you're
I'm
gonna do.
sure after they see this tape, they'll
I'll be in trouble, I'll be getting a phone call, come in and see me.
Well, there's gotta be something we could do to talk to them to find out what's going on. I mean, the ownership was passed over to them from whoever had it before, correct?
Yeah.
Well, it was
In fact, I
always
have
the
that in some of
town.
the minutes.
It was always the town.
Yeah, but I mean, the selectmen now are in charge of what happens to that building. So the first step would be to, like I just read in the minutes here, we gotta get, here it is, we gotta get, an appraiser must be hired to determine the value of the building, what repairs are needed, and what to sell the building for. I mean, geez, all you gotta do is get on the phone and get somebody over there.
Not
Right.
like that with town property.
Well, I'm sorry, but
There's a lot more to it.
I
That's a lot.
understand that, but they're dragging their feet, and it's gonna happen is the building's gonna end up getting torn down. Just like that building was across the street that George Washington met in his General Beauregard. They tore that down in '57.
That was a nice house.
Which one?
Right across the street, they had that,
Oh, the Somerton House.
Cemetery.
The Somerton
they
House.
tore that down in '57. I can't get over that. They actually tore that building down, and
Yeah.
George Washington was there.
My goodness.
I've met
Just don't make
the,
sense, does it?
No, certainly.
I met the lady at the museum, came down with her niece and her daughter, and her family was the last family that lived in that house before it got torn down.
Yeah.
And I met her, and she, you know that I had that sign made. Have you seen the sign that's
Yeah,
there?
well, that's how I knew there was a building there, because I stopped one day on my bicycle and I read the sign.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't know who it was in charge at them years, and I understand 1957, they didn't care about stuff like they do now as far as historical value. But I can't, that was the biggest, I can't get.
And that was all because of the cemetery building.
Yeah,
Then they bought the
I
land.
understand it, but they could have put the cemetery building behind it.
But at the time in 1957, could the town afford another historical building? Renovate
Yeah,
it
but
and
how much
everything
money
else?
could it have cost?
No.
Really, I mean, 57,
Somebody would have lived in it. Wait, what about the house, the Cussin house? They were gonna knock that down.
Oh, yeah. Well, the builder bought it and reconstructed it
what
and
house?
sold it. The cross the street, the yellow one,
Cussin.
the Cussin House.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, Captain Severance house.
Severance, yeah.
At the
That's it.
St. Francis
You're right,
School.
the Severance House, yeah.
But, you know, how much can the town afford to take over?
They can.
I mean, these people have properties, and it's worth so much money.
Yep.
Is the town gonna give them what it's worth? And then is the town gonna be able to afford to restore it to its original condition?
Well, that's why I'm saying sell it. Then the town don't have nothing to do with
The
it
library.
anymore.
That's right. That's right.
The library, yeah, or any building for that matter, that's historical building.
Now you're talking my museum and leaving the house, you better not.
I don't mean it that, I mean, if the building comes up and the town says, well, we don't have the money to, you know, to do this, then hell with it, sell it. You know, let somebody else do it. There's gotta be a way, because like I say, I've been here living here now for 3 years,
Yep.
and they haven't done squat in the last 3 years.
No, and a lot of it has got to do with finding the original building plans. In fact, he was even gonna trace it back to the architect, because in one of our books it listed who the architect was,
Ah.
then the plans, and I says, God knows, that was so many years ago, that person's not alive anymore. But he was gonna try to see if he could research and see if the company maybe was still around
Right.
and would have the documents. I've gone through the building department, I have gone through files like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Okay, how
When
about,
his wife was working there, let me tell you, I'd go there and I'd visit her, and we were through all kinds of files, found nothing.
well, how about if we get hire a lawyer? No, wait a minute, now, let me finish.
They got town
No, all I
attorneys.
mean is to send them a letter to the selectmen,
Yeah.
just to write a letter, not to do anything else, to the selectmen, to get off their duffs and do something with the library.
They're gonna hang us.
No.
I don't
I'm
think,
sorry, that's,
How about just asking them what is needed,
Yeah.
what's the first step?
but you're not getting a straight answer from them.
yeah, that's the
It'll
first part.
remind them, that's all. It'll
Let me
write
talk,
them a letter.
let me see if I can reach Mr. Kelly. What's tomorrow, Wednesday?
Yep.
Council on Aging meeting. Okay,
Well, I mean, even if one of us writes a letter to them, or you, or us, and we all sign it, and tell them to get off their duffs and do something with this building, what are they gonna do to us? You know, excommunicate us from the town?
throw us out.
I mean, I pay taxes just like everybody else.
And that's the thing, I mean, there's people in this town
Yep.
that have built huge houses,
Sure.
that are paying taxes. I mean, it's incredible. I don't understand how come we're always hurting for money.
I don't understand it either.
I'm not sure, but I think where we pay one of the highest tax rates
Yeah.
in.
I know, mine
Southeast
just
Mass.
went up.
I think all of us went up.
Everybody's taxes went up,
Right,
yeah.
but compared with other communities,
Yep,
we're right up there.
sure.
I understand
And we're a
that.
small town.
Well, it's just the same with rents. The guy
Yeah.
across the street from me just rented a second floor walk-up for $2,000 a month.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Totally ridiculous.
What are the taxes on it?
I have no
So,
idea.
I mean, if you own a piece of property,
Yeah.
if you rent it out, you intend on making money on that property, correct?
To pay the taxes and water and all the
I
good stuff.
understand that, but it's actually,
It's true,
it's a
though.
catch-22 situation.
Yeah,
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't see people, who the hell can afford $2,000 a month? As it is, the guy that moved in there, the family that moved in there, they can't afford a car.
Oh my gosh.
Well, this is the problem in Massachusetts.
It's
The
not
governor's
only
addressed this
It's a
and,
problem everywhere. You know, I have friends in Tennessee and I have friends in Florida that are running into the same issues.
Sure.
And it's, you know, and it's getting worse and worse all the time.
Oh, my daughter's down in Florida, and she said it's not cheap to live down here anymore.
It never
She
was.
said the older folks that moved down there thinking they were gonna live good for less money, they're packing up and they're coming back up north.
It's like the
So
people
you
in
wouldn't believe the
California,
houses for
they're all
sale.
moving to Texas. Because
Absolutely.
it's a lot cheaper to live there.
Huh?
I don't know,
I don't
it's
know.
just getting to the point where things have changed so much and gone downhill so fast as far as the housing situation, the taxes, and preserving historical buildings, it's just, and it seems to me.
It's a fortune, it costs us a
seems-
fortune.
I know that, but it seems to me that the people in charge should be doing a hell of a lot more than they are.
Yes.
But money is very, very tight, so that's a big.
Yeah, but how much does it cost? In other words, money's tight, okay. You get what do you call it?
Reservations?
Appraiser. How much is it gonna cost to get an appraiser to go there and, hell,
I'm not sure if they've done that already, because I heard one of the selectmen's meetings a while back where they said, put it on the market for $500,000. So they had to have gotten that figure from somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe they did have an appraisal done.
well,
I'll have to ask Mr. Kelly, because he'll tell me when I go see him about anything in the historical. Thank God, he's kind of, he's been kind of a help. But I'll have to check with him on this library issue. Okay, all right, before we go any further, everyone's gone over the minutes of the meeting in January. May I have a motion to accept them?
I'll make a motion.
second,
All in favor?
I-
Okay.
so I still think we should also mail a letter to a senator representatives what we were discussing before.
Yeah.
In particular, the state rep that now represents the bottom third of this town, and also is, you know, the guy from,
How do we find out who it is?
Mattapoisett, and, well, the name escapes me, but he's.
The name you mentioned.
Strauss.
Kraus?
Strauss is from
Yeah,
Mass.
Strauss. Strauss has been in there a long time, and I've read a number of articles in some of the weekly town things of some of the nearby
Yeah.
towns. He seems to be able to obtain money for just about anything, because he's been in there long enough to know all the ins and outs.
What is he, a rep or a senator?
He's a rep.
What's his name?
Kraus.
Strauss,
Spell
William
it.
Strauss.
Strauss, I believe. And he's,
S-C-R-A-U-S.
K-R-A-U-S-E?
Rouse.
no,
S-
S-T-R-U-A-S-S,
S-T-R-A-U.
I believe.
Strauss with an S.
S-C-R-U-A-S-S.
Yeah. But he's been in there for quite some time now, and he knows his stuff.
What's his first name, you know?
S-T,
The name escapes me.
A-U-S-S.
See, this is the first term that he's been represented part of this town.
all right, he's the rep.
And the other fellow who's retiring represents the northern 2/3 of the town, so he's no help to us after his
And
mom.
what's his name, the other,
Schmidt.
Schmidt?
Schmid, yeah, with the
Paul Schmidt.
S-C-H-M-I-D.
So if you heard that they were putting, the library was gonna go for $500,000,
Yep,
we gotta find out if that's on the market.
yep.
I don't believe it's on the market yet.
Well, then why isn't it on the market? Well, I mean, all you gotta do is ask. Right? Hell, I'll
I've been
go in
there
and
at least
ask
3
them if
times
I
a
have
week
to.
asking. The wonder I don't get thrown out. Oh my gosh. But anyways, on the CPC, because town meeting is gonna be June 3rd,
The town
And-
meeting.
town
Oh,
meeting.
like, you mean, okay.
okay? So, the Perry Hill Church for the National Historic Register is one of the articles that I'm gonna have. The second article is we're gonna ask for a new fence on the south side at the museum. Remember last year I did the
Mhm.
north side?
Mhm.
And everybody loved it. It came out really nice. So this year we're gonna do the south side, which is shorter. Because we're not going to be able to close it off down the back
Yep,
because of the bands.
yeah.
So we're only gonna be able to go up to the shed and stop there. So I've already got a price on that. They're both articles are going for CPC and then town meeting.
Okay, so they're
And try to get
gonna put a new
prices.
fence in there?
We're gonna ask for the funds to do it. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get prices. You know, it's tough, let me tell you. It sounds like it's open.
You're gonna hit it all summer.
No. Okay, so those are the 2 articles that I have going before, town meeting this year. The preservationist that I've got helping me with this, the National Historic Register,
Yep.
she's been very good. She's contacted Mass Historical. She's talked to them all up there because she's very familiar with them.
Yep.
She's up in Boston area, so she deals with them all the time. But now they've given us the go ahead and do it, and let's try to get it on the register. You know, we were like this because it's been years. I started working on the research 2010. I've got all the papers and files home, and I could not believe when I started looking back,
Yep.
2010.
That's a while. Frustrating, I'm
It's
sure.
very frustrating,
Yeah.
very.
It's,
Especially when you go to CPC and ask for money to do something,
Yeah,
and they turn you down.
that's
They turn
gonna
you
be the
down.
worst, yeah.
We've got a lot of issues there, we've got a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's gonna be able to hold a septic tank. You can't have a closed tank, you know, one of the closed one, you can't have that, those are illegal now. The building inspector told me. A tank, what they call a tank.
Yeah.
Can't use those anymore, they're illegal. The water is in the middle of Perry Hill Road, so all it needs to be brought in from the street in, the
Yeah.
water,
Yeah, sure.
okay? There's no heat in that building,
Nope.
another problem.
Is this all gonna be worth it? I mean, were you looking at how much money are you looking at total? $20,000-$30,000?
You're looking, are you kidding? We're looking a lot more than that.
Then there's no way in hell they're gonna approve that.
That's why I'm trying to see, we get it on the National Historic Register, we can apply for some grants through the state. But I need this preservationist, this girl, I think we need her to kind of help us out because she knows how to write those kind of letters that they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking for specific things, you know?
Yep,
I mean, we can give them a list of what we need,
yeah.
You
That's
know?
something else that Strauss could probably help you with, because I could remember, Strauss has been in there for quite some time now, and he's not a real old guy.
No, he isn't.
And he knows his stuff, and he seems able to produce sums of money for the legislature, and other people scratch their heads and say, gee whiz, how did he get them to approve that? And they weren't saying, isn't that awful? They're saying, we kind of wish he was representing us. You know, but it would do no harm, because I'm sure he could give some suggestions about what the letter should contain.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because if he's able to get sums of money to do this, do that, in some of the other towns that he represents, then he's obviously in on, how to do it well.
I don't even know if someone like a representative would be able to help with the grant programs at all, because it's very specific what's gotta be done,
Yeah,
and it's got to go.
I think you're doing the right thing with that woman. She's the one that you need to do.
I think we need maybe to keep her on, even if we have to
I
pay
don't know,
her
I just kind of
a little bit. She has been very helpful,
That's what you need.
you know, because we don't know where to start. I mean, I can give them a list, like when I talked to that Ben Haley, because he was kind of arguing with me that I'm not sure if the building is still considered historical with the changes that have been done.
Yeah,
And I'm like, excuse me, what changes?
yeah,
And I said, the only thing, by looking at the old pictures and new pictures, the only thing I see different is 2 small porches
yeah.
instead of 1 large one, okay? And as far as the belfry, never came off the roof.
Yeah,
I've got pictures of them working it up on the roof, because it was all rotted. But they never took it off the roof. The bell is still in there. And in fact, I had Seth DeRoche go up there and check it, because that's another thing. He's got to give me in writing the condition of it, because Mr. Kelly asked me about the insurance, because those buildings are all insured through the town. And we had to make sure that that bell is solid, so
Yeah.
it's not going to come tumbling down. You
That
know?
big mess.
Oh, yeah, because we've got the belfry, under the belfry, we've got the area where the like choir would be. If it came through, it's gonna cut through there and down. It's gonna be a big mess.
Why, is it that bad?
No, the bell is solid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was one good thing. But I need it in writing too. I keep asking Seth, that he's so busy with work, they don't have time to do anything. But that's the only thing. I mean, the siding was replaced with clapboard, which was there. The back of the building was replaced with shingles, which was there.
Yep.
The windows have been refurbished, not replaced. And I said to him, there is nothing else that has changed with that building. The other thing they're making a noise about is inside, the ceiling used to be a peak,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
But when they had to fix the roof, they've got 3, what do you call them? The wires that go from one wall to the other to hold the walls in.
Yeah,
This- There's a name for it.
ties.
The metal ties. There's 3 of them in the church.
Yeah.
And I guess because of that, they changed the style of the ceiling. It's
Oh.
more like gambrel, like
Yes.
this and down,
Yep.
where before it used to be a peak.
Aha.
How the heck can you see that from outside?
I don't think.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can really lose patience with these people because it is crazy.
Yes.
It's a good thing, I thank God, I've got pictures in an envelope at home from way before,
Yep.
when we first took it over, to what it looks like now,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And even poor John Howcroft, he's 86 years old like my husband. He's out there cleaning all along the stone walls. He's having everything cut down. He said those stone walls are beautiful, they should be showing. So he's been clearing it all out, 86 years old, by
Wait,
himself,
at the museum?
at the church,
At the church.
you know?
So in the end, what is the goal for the church?
Well, he asked, that Ben Haley asked me, what would you use it for? I
Exactly.
said, we can use it for meetings.
Yeah.
I said, because parking is an issue.
Mhm.
Don't have many parking spots.
No,
You don't
So-
have any parking spots.
Yeah, you do in the front.
How many? 3, 4?
You can have about 6 cars right in the front, because I know they park there to buy John's apples next door. They park in front of the church.
uh-huh.
So, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh,
He asked
God.
you what the end game was for the use of it.
Oh, the use of it, okay, so I told them, meetings we could use it for. I said I would like to see a church service come back on Sundays, because a lot of those people down on Perry Hill Road, like Priscilla Gilchrist,
Yeah,
89 years old.
yeah.
I talked with her again, 2 weeks ago, I went down and paid her a visit, and,
I got a question for you. What denomination was that church, or was it any particular one?
I've heard it was a Baptist, but I don't think so, I think it was Christian.
Just sort of just generic Christian without any particular label or...
Because when the Society of North Fairhaven was running, that's what they called it.
Mhm.
First Christian
You couldn't
church.
make Catholic mass in there.
No,
I don't think so.
no.
So it would either be a Presbyterian or
Or Baptist,
non-denominational.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just have a preacher. You don't need
Yeah, a minister or preacher.
a preacher. You don't need a minister. You need a preacher, somebody
That's
who
about
can.
it, yeah, that's all it really...
Just like when I was living in Tennessee,
Yeah,
my wife belonged to this church and I went there and I was a little leery of it. But they had a preacher.
yeah,
No, he was, that's all he was a preacher.
yeah,
And he was fantastic.
sure.
And there was 200 people in a town of
Hey.
2,800. And there was 2,800 people in this town, they had 20 churches.
Wow.
Oh, that's the South for you, the rural
Exactly,
South.
just
Sure.
south of the Mason-Dixon
That's
line.
how it is, yeah.
Mm.
In fact, they had a huge monument at the town hall that was dedicated to the daughters of the Confederacy.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
Oh, my
okay,
God.
now,
Okay, so,
let's, wanna bring up a sore subject?
mm,
About the plaques. We gotta get somebody,
oh,
who we're gonna get? John really doesn't have the time, I can't do it.
It's tough to, well, I've had certain issues lately of health and hospital visits and stuff, you know,
Mhm.
And you
routine
say-
stuff, but...
yeah,
And you say there's no money to hire somebody? Even if we hired maybe part-time or
Yeah,
someone that actually works in the Parting Ways building to...
yeah, but those people all have jobs that are getting
Well, I
paid for by
understand that,
the
but some
town.
people might
I can
wanna
think
make
of somebody that might possibly, he doesn't live here though, he lives up in the northern part of the county, but he is very active doing the real estate title work. I know how to do it, but I'm gonna be 77 in a couple of weeks, and I just have not got the oomph I used to have.
I know,
But he's somewhat younger than I, he's probably about 55, and he knows his stuff, and he might just be worth having a chat with.
Why don't you do you
Does he
know
get-
well enough to chat
does
with
he
him?
do-
I do indeed.
Well, why don't you give him a call and see what he says?
Yes, tell him that, you know, there's a need for a certain amount
For
of title work to
the
be done.
historical commission,
Yes,
Yeah, and you know, and if he says, well, how much you willing to pay?
yeah.
You tell him we'll pay you in apples.
no,
No, I'm just saying, you know, find out, it wouldn't hurt to talk to him.
no, but he has done things to help me out, and I've done things to help him out,
Yeah,
you know, and it would do no harm, and he just might be, yeah, see, he lives up in Mansfield. See?
oh,
But he does work in Bristol County, all 3 registries, he's been at, well, mostly Bristol North.
Well, if you had somebody that knows what they're doing,
Oh, he knows it.
wait a minute, let me
Yeah.
finish. When he goes there, he could investigate
Yeah,
probably 50 of them in one day, so he doesn't have to come down here, I'm exaggerating.
It's a lot of
of course,
work.
Yeah.
I know.
What I'm-
'cause
what
I
I'm
used to
saying
do
is-
it.
I know, I went with Joyce.
Even if he only puts one day a month aside
yeah,
to come down here to investigate, it would be a heck of a lot further along than we are now.
Yeah,
well, that's true, and I think, well, I mean, he has been saying that recently things have been dropping off and a little quiet, so it might be a good time to hit him.
Well, like I say, John, it
I'll
wouldn't
talk
hurt
to
to
him
call.
tomorrow. I'll talk to him tomorrow for you.
and One thing I gotta ask him about, this 5 Middle Road, that was, Anne Marie's house, Anne Marie Kudo.
Yep.
I had done, oh my God, and I don't know, it's not in this file, this is the one that you gave me back, but that house is 100 years old. And you left me a note saying that, 1930s.
Well, that's almost 100, any way you slice it, I mean, you just could,
It's older than that, it's older than that, because when see, you cannot go by
Just
what
by the
they call,
style of the house.
just that style, right?
I think sometimes they just take a whack at it, they don't really know how old they are.
If you ask the girls downstairs in the assessors, they'll tell you, do not go by that.
No.
They use that for tax purposes.
Aha,
But that is not what we need,
no,
okay? But I had done myself some looking into it, and that house, in fact, you know Diana Kudo? I guess when she was much younger, she worked there, because I guess Anne Marie used to do costumes in that,
Yeah.
gowns and costumes. And she told me that house is way over 100 years old. She used to work there, a lot of little cubby holes and things like that.
sure.
All right,
Okay, well, anyway, the fellow his name is coming to me, his name is Brian Hall. Brian Hall is about 55 years old, I can give you his phone number. He is at 508-889-7079. And that-
Brian Hall.
Brian Hall, Hall, and he has had quite a bit of experience primarily doing title work in this county and in Plymouth County. Also, though, he goes up into Norfolk and he goes up into Worcester. County.
Well, he doesn't have to go that far from me.
No,
All
no,
he's
no,
gonna
no.
do is go New Bedford.
Who does he work for?
That's all I need.
Himself. He's
He works
a
for
one-man guy, but he knows his stuff.
So when you call, are you calling him to talk to him?
I talk to him, I find if you want to talk to him, you gotta call him about 25 after 8 in the morning
Well,
before
what
he
I'm gonna
leaves.
say is, find out how much he wants,
We'll see.
or how much he charges.
Yeah, see if he'd be willing to do it as a
I
hobby.
think he's
That
offering.
ain't gonna happen.
My understanding is he's reasonable. He is not a gouger. And he's been at it
Thouser. Boy, I haven't heard that expression in a long time.
no, but he's been at it for quite some time.
Cause we don't have money in the budget for this extra stuff, you know? My budget
There's gotta
this,
be a few bucks somewhere we can,
the budget that I have this year, they increased my budget last year
Yeah.
by $500 in, what did they put under the title? They did give us an increase, but already this year,
Yep,
I've used oil because the furnace, oh my God, we had so much trouble this winter with that furnace in the museum.
yep,
Alan Parker, who's taught me how to run that building, okay? He always said the only thermostat that works in this building is the one in the main room. That's the only one that you touch or work,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Well, little did we know, this winter,
yep,
there's thermostats upstairs in each room.
yep.
Somebody turned them up to 80.
Who the heck did that?
Well, we don't know. We think it could have gone back to Apple Peach. Because remember Apple Peach, we had all the rooms open, we had people up there,
Yeah.
people going through.
don't
We
worry.
don't know if kids touched it or whatever. But that furnace was running constantly.
That's not good.
No, it wasn't good. It cost me a fortune with oil. I think like over $1,800 so far. And we're not done yet. We'll probably get one more delivery.
For a room that's mostly empty?
No, the rooms are full.
Well, all right.
One's a clothing room,
Ah, yeah,
and the other one's like an apartment with furniture and that.
yeah.
But the thermostat, so we're gonna figure a way of covering them,
There's gotta be a
so
way.
nobody can.
Yeah.
But Alan always told me that those were all disconnected, they didn't work.
Yeah,
How come all of a sudden, they're up to 80 degrees? My husband said he went upstairs and he almost fell with the heat.
They sell lockable covers for the thermostats.
Yeah, because they're the
It's not
old
that
ones.
And they
expensive.
have that lock.
It
No.
is a lock on them. It's a plexiglass
Yeah.
Right.
cover that.
Where can I get them?
Any plumbing supplies.
Yeah,
store,
Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah?
Lowe's.
Right, because they had to put a new thermostat for me in the main room. The new kind, the square one that's like digital, the buttons.
Right.
Put that in the new room, in the first floor, in the room, that's the only one we're supposed to touch.
Yeah,
So I don't understand who could have touched them, because after Labor Day, there's really nobody up there. You know? So I don't know when they got,
Is there any water up there?
maybe they should turn on the cameras and we'll find out who's doing this.
nah,
Is there any water upstairs?
Yeah,
There's no bathrooms, no
no, the
water?
bathroom's on the first floor.
So why don't they just shut that upstairs off entirely? What's gonna happen if it, temperature goes down? With the heat downstairs, it's not gonna go
It
below
does, it
freezing.
rises. It all rises
It's
upstairs.
not gonna go below freezing,
no.
so just close off the upstairs.
I
As far as,
Yeah, but you can't really close it off because there's
I
no
don't mean
doors on
close
the
it off, I
rooms.
meant eliminate the thermostats entirely.
I wish I could.
Well, all you gotta do is take them off the wall, or have somebody take them off the wall.
Oh, I
All
gotta
you have
find,
to do is disconnect one wire in the thermostat and put it back
That's
on.
right.
really? Oh, I'm gonna have to do
But
something upstairs
If
because,
the other thing is the heat issue. I mean, if there's anything up there capable of freezing,
There isn't,
no,
there's
not
no
up on the
pipes.
second floor.
well,
But
okay.
see, you've got those, for the heat, it's got those vents on the wall
Right, it's warm
and the
there.
cover is open.
Yeah.
You can pull the cover closed. So those vents are open upstairs, so there is some heat getting in there.
Sure.
But the thermostat is at 50 degrees all winter long. I winterize the building, so there's no water running. I put antifreeze in the sinks, the toilets, everything.
Yep,
Everything's winterized. But when he went upstairs and he said, "Oh my God, what's wrong? How come it's so hot up here?" And when we checked further, we called the heating guy,
yep.
and they kind of figured it out. Somebody had touched the thermostats. And all this
They're gonna
time
be
we thought
covered
they
in
were
lock.
disconnected. You know?
I'm gonna have to cut out because I got a couple things to do before,
Okay.
medical situation tomorrow, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but I will talk to Hall. If I talk to Hall and he sounds interested in what I've been having.
Call me.
Yes.
Call me.
Okay, Brian Hall, he's a good fellow, and he knows his stuff. And, all he'll have to have is some idea of what you're looking for him to do. And I know
I
things
think-
are relatively quiet now up in Taunton, so he may just be willing to come down and do a lot of
Coming
stuff.
down to New Bedford.
Yes.
Because, I mean,
He's,
he could probably do more than maybe 3-4 of them in a day.
I'm sure he
At
could.
least.
They're partially done now. It's just I gotta get back.
He's
The
quite
worst thing is-
computerized at home too, which I'm not, never was.
Ah,
So he could probably, he does a lot of stuff just by staying home, and he can get it done without even setting foot in here to some extent.
see,
That-
I just don't have the time to
Right,
get
and
into
that's
this
what-
and
that's
that.
I'm gonna have to cut out, but I will call him and we'll see
All
what
right.
he can do for you.
Okay,
Take
All
care,
right.
Don.
Yeah, take
So-
care, take care indeed.
Is that your pen?
Yep.
Is that your pen?
It's
this is
for
mine.
whoever wants it or needs it, I got plenty of them.
Yeah, this is mine, I think.
Okay.
I thought I ran out of ink for this.
What do you get when you squeeze
all
all the pee out of a possum?
and two, before I
Enough of
forget,
that.
Eric, you remember Eric that was on the board?
Yes.
Let me see now, he met a lady that they play cards, they got a card group, and, I think it was her uncle or her father, I don't know, that lived in Acushnet, and he passed away, and she's cleaning the house out, and I talked to her last night, "Oh, John, you're going the wrong way,
What's the right way?
go that way and turn.
I'm not sure, I've never been in this part of the building before.
I don't want you to fall down the stairs either."
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, I talked to her last night, and she said she's got a lot of old pictures. So I'm gonna meet her next Wednesday at the museum, we're gonna look at pictures. She says she's got them of the church and the school. I'm crossing my fingers, I hope so. I'm dying to get more pictures of the Perry Hill School. So, okay, yeah, I did get a couple of pictures from Gary, for the Perry Hill School, but they're not in great condition. Okay, yeah, and the files, I went through the files downstairs, and and there was absolutely no photos of the Perry Hill School, nothing there. Nothing, but there's about 4 drawers in the file that are full of books and things like that that Irwin had saved, all from the commission. So as soon as I can get boxes from Pam, I'll pack it up and they'll...
Now, they did a lot at the cemeteries. Do you have that stuff?
What do you
I
mean?
thought, Mom Allison, they used to go to all the old cemeteries.
They only did the 2 in Long Plain. I've got the book at the museum that we sell, yeah. In fact, I found in the file, you know, the one that they put together, then send it out to make copies of it. It was in that, in the file cabinet. So we got like the original. So I've got that too. I'm gonna save that. I might take that up to the museum and put it in the safe that we have up there. Anything really old like that, I try to put it away, you know. And I had gotten, I got quite a bit of things from, I think his name was Doug Tripp. His father lived on Perry Hill Road. I think it's something to do with Priscilla, because that was all Tripp property where Priscilla lived. And the older Tripp passed away, but his son Doug inherited all the father's stuff. Well, he passed away. So they were cleaning that house out, and they brought me quite a bit of old books. They brought me an original old history book, one of the first ones that was printed. I got it in plastic in order to keep it together, and I'm going to lock that one up too.
Now Tripp, that was Otis Tripp, right at the Rochester line?
Yeah, Priscilla's house is almost down to the Rochester line.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
Priscilla
on
was the
Tripp Lane.
daughter, wasn't it?
Is what?
She's the daughter.
Otis's daughter, I
Yeah,
believe.
her. I guess
And
her
she had
parents
a
were
brother.
Tripps.
And that's gotta be who you're talking about.
Must have been. Was it Walter? They told me.
I don't know.
Oh, she mentioned Otis Tripp. Was that her father?
Father.
Otis
I believe
Tripp.
Otis was the
The
father.
father. And Walter must have been the brother. And Walter's son was Doug.
Okay.
And he's the one that inherited from the father. But it was one of the relatives that was cleaning the house out and found all different stuff for Acushnet. And actually, I don't know how she got in touch with me. I think she called town hall and they put her in touch with me. And yeah, I've got quite a few books and things like that, old stuff. You know, I'm trying to preserve anything really old like that. I'm trying to preserve, even if we have to put it in plastic, and then I put it downstairs in the safe. Keep all the important stuff down there, you know. We've been getting a lot of things, we're trying to get a lot of things done, let's put it that way. But this, I know this house goes back way over 100 years, and he stopped and said it was 1930, and I'm saying, it's not 1930, no way. So
Hopefully this guy can help us out.
well, this is what, I mean, I need somebody that's really gonna help, because it's too much, I'm going crazy with this stuff.
Well, you can't do everything.
And I'm trying to do it, but I can't do it all
Well,
alone
that's why we
anymore,
need other people.
you know? And Nancy was supposed to come tonight too, we were supposed to meet her for the first time, and she didn't come.
Well, you can
And
get
the
ahold
old
of her.
sign, remember the old? When you get a chance, go in parting ways. Go up the stairs, walk straight through, it's on the wall. It's all been repaired and painted, it's beautiful. And now it's inside, where it should have been.
That date at the bottom, is that when that building was built?
No, 1903 is when this sign, I guess when the sign,
Well, when was Pine Ways building built?
oh, back, I think
18
1800s.
1890 or
Really?
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
Huh.
And that
Did you go to
little,
school there?
Sixth grade,
I went.
because
third,
they had
fourth-
just built the junior high school.
Right, I went 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th. 7th grade, I went to the library. Across street
Oh,
from
yeah.
White's Dairy.
yeah,
That was 7th grade out there.
Maria Howard.
Right.
yeah.
What is the address of that?
Of what?
And kudos, 5 Middle Road?
5 Middle Road. I know this, it's older than 100, because I had paperwork on it.
It's definitely.
Okay, is there anything else we gotta talk about
And
tonight?
see the little meeting house? That was the meeting house that's
And
where,
where's the other thing, the school?
this is Potting Way School,
Okay.
and this was the meeting house where the fire station is.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Do you believe nobody in this blessed town has got pictures of that meeting house?
I believe it.
How can people not have a picture of that meeting house? I mean, it was
Well, back
right
then,
here.
not many people had cameras.
I was gonna say, yeah, nobody had cameras. It was the old fashioned
It's
kind, you
unreal.
had to set up and put the thing up in the air.
Yeah, the ones that took pictures of Lincoln.
Yeah.
And it's even in the history book. It describes when it was built, how big it was, everything about it, and yet I can't find a blessed picture. Okay, and now this is another thing too. This was the what they call the triangle down on Main Street,
The triangle?
down here at River's End.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, don't ask me, they call it the triangle. And this shows all the old properties on both sides of Main Street.
Oh, the train, that's gonna be where Talkin Hill meets, River Road and,
Mill
Mill Road.
Belleville.
Mill
Yeah,
Road.
Mill Road,
Mill Road's across the street from River's End.
Right.
yeah,
River Road,
yeah.
the triangle, River Road, Talkin Hill,
And
and,
Mill Road, isn't it Mill Road?
the light, that's Belleville Avenue.
Oh, Belleville Avenue is up for
And then it
that.
goes to Ball's Corner.
Right.
Would that be the triangle?
That's the triangle, that's what they
Okay.
called the triangle. On the east side of the bridge, on the south side of the road, from Acushnet to Long Plain, homestead of the late Captain Swift, there's a triangular tract of land comprising about 4 acres on which are 9 buildings.
Yeah, okay, that's about right.
And in 1738, this triangle, together with the farm to the east and south, belonged to Stephen West Jr., who was his wife was the only child of Samuel Jenny, the original owner. And then it tells you each house and the year. Okay?
That's along River Road?
That's along Talkin Hill coming into Main Street. Main Street, down near River's End. Main Street coming up.
Right.
Okay, that's where all these, see the brook is here, that's, that used to be where the car parts are,
The who?
the builder with that sells parts,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
okay? That was the original Methodist Society, that old building that was there used to be a meeting house. Okay, and then it's got all the properties all the way up.
Now that bridge there, that's where the British killed all the
Yep.
militia.
Well, Washington, I understand Washington stayed at that house,
See,
like opposite River's End.
He stayed
That
there,
house on that corner, like,
and they say he also stayed or had a meeting with Beauregard, his general, and they discussed the taking of the first British ship in New Bedford Harbor. That during the war. That was the first ship they captured was in New Bedford Harbor.
there is so much history in this town, it's incredible. And the more you dig, you find out more and more. I mean, look at the ages of these properties, all the way back in 1800.
Anything else?
I want a picture of Wimpy's.
Wimpy.
Wimpy,
oh yeah. Whippy's was a hamburger joint.
where was that?
With the gas
That-
station.
Where the
Well,
new
with the
gas
shop.
station.
Oh, you told me that once before.
Wimpy's, in fact, Emu Pool used was the
Earl
original.
Lee, yeah, he was on Board of Health.
Oh, the name of
And
it.
he was my father's cousin.
Oh,
And I don't remember that.
Wimpy's, we used to go there after school and play, they let us sit there all afternoon, and didn't buy a thing because you stunk
Oh.
like french fries when you went home.
Okay, what I was saying, Fred Tripp was the grandfather, then Otis Tripp was the father. Clifford Tripp, I don't know if that was her brother.
Cliffy Irish. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. And you know where Knox built his house over there on Perry Hill? That was all Priscilla's, oh my God, grandfather, Robinson. That was all Robinson land. She was telling me, oh my God, she's another history buff. I should get that on tape. I mean, she was going on and on telling me who owned all that land and what and where it went to. And then she told me like where her house is, they had acres of land. In fact, even now, behind her house, there's big fields. She said her land goes all the way up behind John Howcroft's. You know the house behind John Howcroft that, what was his name, Tony from the gas station? He bought that house in the back. Well, her land comes all the way up to almost Main Street. Still. I mean, it's incredible, the land that they had. She was telling me acres and acres of land that they had. No? I mean, we've got a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge of this town. It's incredible. If you only had the time to sit down and tape everything they could tell you, it would be really good, you know?
Probably write a book.
Another book, you know, somebody mentioned that to me. You know, Pauline, why don't you think about writing another history book from 1907 to now? Give me a break.
Yeah, like you got
I'll
time
leave
for
town. I'm gonna leave town. I can't take on anymore. I cannot. Okay, so, all right, may I have a call for an adjournment here?
Okay.
All right.
Next
Our
meeting is
next-
April 7th.
Like 9?
Yeah, April 9th.
April 9th, okay.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.